Is it possible that a single amino acid is responsible for robbing us of good health as we age, and may even be sucking many years out of our lives? These are rather explosive health claims to be making, and they're even more explosive when we tell you that we are talking about an essential amino acid. But first, what is an essential amino acid? Essential amino acids are organic compounds that your body needs to function. And what do amino acids do for our bodies? Amino acids are required to manufacture protein and other important compounds, such as certain hormones and neurotransmitters. In the absence of the particular amino acid that is the subject of this video, we would simply not be alive. Yet, new research that has come to light in the past 6 months is telling us that yes, it is possible this is happening. The key is that, while we do need this amino acid to live, too much of it is making us sick and shortening our lives. The good news is that there is a way to prevent this from happening. The answer is to simply consume less of this one particular amino acid. We should clarify that you don't want to eliminate this amino acid from your diet completely. You merely want to reduce the total amount of it that you consume. Now, we are going to tell you all about this amino acid and the concrete steps you can take to reduce your chances of a shortened life. But first, let's study the story of the Knights Templar, because they may have stumbled on the cure for an overabundance of this amino acid without even realizing it. And they were able to enjoy many healthy additional years in the process. In the heart of the Middle Ages, a benevolent network arose that consisted of warrior monks, known as the Knights Templar. The Templar Knights married themselves to a rather unusual life path. Despite how they are often cast, in what might be described as a villainous light, the Knights seem to have lived simple, modest lives in what they believed constituted a noble service to God. Their dietary choices and obligations reflect this. Kings, queens, and many others gifted money, manors, churches, villages, food, land, ponies, and military equipment to the Knights Templar. Though the order grew rich from donations, and by acting as a kind of bank to keep travelling pilgrims' money safe, the men themselves took formal vows of poverty, obedience, and chastity. For the lion's share of 200 years, the order played a dominant role in Europe, reaching as many as 15,000 members strong by the end of the 13th century. They were expert warriors, and their fighting forces consisted of some of the best sword fighters and jousters in the world. Due to their religious beliefs, they wanted to adopt a rather simple, humble diet. At the same time, they believed that they needed to eat meat in order to keep up their strength. They struck upon a compromise solution. For 3 days a week, they ate meat. During the other 4 days a week, they committed to what would now be described as a vegan Mediterranean diet. Their plates were abundant with homegrown fruits and vegetables that brimmed with Mediterranean delights like figs, pomegranates, olives, and corn. Legumes, root vegetables, grains, and bread were also staples of their diet. The result? An impressive feat of longevity. The Templars routinely lived into their 60s and 70s, defying the average lifespan of 31 years for wealthy merchants, or an average lifespan of 48 years for those who survived childhood and adolescence. What was the secret behind the Templars' impressive lifespans? Could it have been a reduction in the amount of animal protein and saturated fat that they consumed? Or was it due to consuming fewer calories overall? While these factors may have certainly played a role, another intriguing possibility lies in their reduced consumption of a specific amino acid called isoleucine. Isoleucine, not to be confused with another essential amino acid called leucine, performs several vital functions in our bodies. It acts as a pigment in red blood cells, helps create hemoglobin, controls blood sugar, boosts energy, and improves endurance. It even aids in the healing of injured muscles, supports muscle development, and promotes lean body mass. On the surface, isoleucine seems like an all-star player in the game of health. But here's where the plot thickens. Despite its beneficial roles, it appears that an excess of isoleucine may have a detrimental effect on both the health span and lifespan of mammals. It makes us sick and infirm as we age, and then shortens the lengths of our lives on top of that. A study published in the prestigious journal Nature in December of the year 2023 illustrated this phenomenon. Mice on a reduced isoleucine diet lived longer, healthier lives than their counterparts who were not on an isoleucine-restricted diet. What were the details of this study? Well, the Lambing Lab is reporting that mice consuming a reduced isoleucine diet lived longer, by an average of 33% for males and 7% for females. Based on 26 health measurements, these mice were in much better condition and health during their extended lives. We look forward to additional studies in humans to confirm that what we saw in mice holds true for us as well. There might someday be an easy solution to the problem of excessive isoleucine. In the future, a pill may be discovered that allows us to consume all the isoleucine we desire without the associated risks. But until that day arrives, it seems prudent to lean into a diet that is low in isoleucine. Now, if you're looking to reduce your isoleucine intake, you might want to consider limiting certain foods. These include meat, fish, poultry, eggs, and cheese. Lentils are also high in isoleucine, and so should be avoided if possible. We should clarify that all other kinds of beans and legumes, with the sole exception of lentils, are fine to eat in abundance. We must also add that nuts and seeds are high in isoleucine, so we recommend you reduce your consumption of those. There are basically two ways to reduce your total intake of isoleucine. You can either adhere to a very strict diet 1 or more days per week in the spirit of the Knights Templar, or you can simply reduce the amount of foods containing isoleucine every day of the week without trying to eliminate those foods from your diet entirely. We should point out that, even if you are successful in cutting all the meat, fish, poultry, eggs, cheese, lentils, nuts and seeds out of your diet, you will still be getting adequate amounts of isoleucine in your diet. This is because isoleucine can be found at sustainable levels in such foods as vegetables and whole grains. Also, you don't have to worry about not getting enough protein in your diet, even if you scrapped animal protein altogether. As long as your diet has some good variety in it in terms of vegetables, whole grains, fruits and legumes, and you aren't subsisting solely on junk food, you will get all the protein and isoleucine you need. You might be wondering if we are advocating in favor of a strict vegan diet. While we think a vegan diet is a good goal, we realize that a very restrictive diet will simply not work for some people. We are instead recommending that you lean into a diet with a reduced isoleucine composition. The Knights Templar were able to achieve impressive lifespan extensions by simply adopting a vegan diet a mere 4 days per week. Perhaps you'd be willing to lower your consumption of isoleucine just a bit by adopting a diet that restricts your consumption of isoleucine? The choice is entirely yours, but consider the benefit of potentially adding years of good health to your lifespan. We should mention that if you are already following a vegan diet, the only modifications that you would need to make would be to avoid eating lentils, nuts and seeds, or at least reducing the amount of lentils, nuts and seeds that you consume. So there you have it, the story of the Knights Templar, their surprisingly cutting-edge diet, and the complex role of isoleucine in our lives. Consuming too little isoleucine would be a catastrophe for our health. At the same time, consuming too much of it could be sucking several healthy years out of our lives. So this is about finding the right balance due to the potential power of this amino acid, both for good and, if consumed in excess, for ill. It's about avoiding too much of this key amino acid, and also making sure that you get enough of it by sticking to a diet filled with variety. What you have learned about this amino acid is a tale that serves as a reminder of the intricate web of factors that influence our health span and lifespan. Until next time, continue to question, learn, and explore the fascinating world of health and longevity. We appreciate having you as our audience and hope that you like this video and subscribe to this channel. Good luck on your health journey.